今天周三吧。走了。Good morning. We are now at the Golden Hall of the Great Hall of the People here in Beijing. We are standing here trying to wait for the annual press conference of our Chinese Premier, Li Keqiang. If you look around, this is a very special place. There's a lot of sticks, the beautiful lamps, the columns in the hall, and certainly the red carpet. But this time it's not the dignitary who are walking the red carpet into the hall, but rather running journalists. All of us arrived very early in the morning in order to get a seat at this one of the most popular press events of the year. In fact, the Chinese Premier Li Keqiang only gives one press conference every year. This exactly is it, right after the closing ceremony of the annual political session. If you look at the front of the room, you could see this is the press conference for the 5th session of the 12th National People's Congress. Later, the VIPs, together with the Chinese Premier, are going to sit over there answering questions both from domestic and international press. And of course, all of us are very busy trying to occupy a seat. In fact, many of us arrived already 2 hours earlier in order to get a seat over here. People are still trying to come in at the point. Hustle bustling, if you could just look around over there. And here are going to be where the photographers and also the camera standing once the press conference begins. At this point, people are still trying to adjust their machines and everything, but once it begins, it will be very crowded. All right. There are some set locations over here by the organizer. The cameramen over there are going to provide these live signals for later, the live broadcast of the annual press conference. And of course, CGTN is going to bring you live to this very important annual event. There are a lot of familiar faces that we have got to know over the years. In fact, I have been covering the annual press conference for about 8 to 9 years, but every time there is a freshness in it because China has been changing so much and China rise in the world. People are extremely interested in what China has in mind, and therefore a lot of questions for the Chinese Premier. And we got journalists from everywhere. Are you from foreign press?
Yes, of course.
May I have your name and your organization?
I'm from Maldives.
Maldives?
Yes.
Okay, wow. This is your first time covering the event?
Sure. No, I have been attending a few press conferences before too.
Great for
since
you.
the sessions.
Great for you. So you got some questions for the Chinese Premier?
Sure, if I get a chance to. Yeah.
What do you have in mind?
Oh, well, a few things, of course, but let's see what we can from here.
Yes, I mean, the chance of asking a question is really hard to come by, isn't it?
Yeah.
How hard do you have to work for it in order to get a chance?
Well, it depends because as you can see, the hall is full of journalists here, so everyone will be waiting for their own chance. So,
yes.
let's try for it.
Okay, good luck.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So this lady, of course, is only one of those representatives over here. I also have a friend coming from Italy. I want to say hi to her if she could be also. We're just doing some online live broadcast. Just want to say hi to you because you've been here in China for a long time.
Yes, it's my fourth press conference, and I'm emotional like the first. So it's a very important day for China life.
Absolutely. I saw you arrive very early. Certainly the early birds.
Yes, early bird. Also because all the seats are already
I know.
full.
So have a seat.
Yes, of course. And I think that it's very important also to help us foreign journalists to have an access to this kind of, because just with a closer view you can have an idea on what's going on really in China, all the leaders, and so that's democracy.
Yeah. I mean, your president was here
Absolutely.
earlier, just a few weeks ago.
Yes.
And now you are covering the Chinese two sessions,
Yes.
CPPCC and NPC, and this annual press conference. I'm sure a lot of interactions between Italy and China.
Absolutely, it's a very good year for relations between Italy and China. It's not already finished because for the One Belt One Road forum, our Prime Minister is expecting to come to visit, and I think that as he was the former Foreign Affairs Minister, he will be the fifth. The sixth, I can count, a visit to China. So I think that now there is a very, very good time for Italy and China.
Yeah, wow. Belt and Road Initiative, Italy is an extremely important country. Yes. So what are you going to ask the Premier, if you have in mind?
But I was really focused on trade relations, because, you know, after the new USA presidency, it's a very hot topic for all the world. Yeah. And China can now play a very big role in this. So my question would be how China is going to be a leading country in this kind of relation, and also related with the WTO role in this.
I can tell you're already having a big article in your head.
Yes, thank you.
All the best.
You too.
Thank you so
and
much.
Thank you for interviewing me.
Okay,
Bye.
Sure. Come to and visit us, huh? Okay. All right. Thank you. This is, of course, many of the journalists we have got to know over the years, and their president from Italy just visited China. A lot of real discussions about the Belt and Road Initiative. This, of course, will be one of those questions coming up, I'm sure, in the press conference. The Belt and Road Initiative has been one of China's solutions to get an upgraded version of globalization these days. So journalists like this lady and many others will be extremely interested to know what is the most recent in mind for the Chinese state leaders, including the Chinese premier. And if you could walk with me a little bit further over here, this is going to be the place, usually, the Chinese premier together with his entourage comes into the hall, and they're going to walk up over here through this little corridor, get onto the podium. 5 chairs already there. Usually people coming from the information office from the National People's Congress, because they are the organizer for this annual press conference. And of course the Premier himself, a translator, together with those coming from the Foreign Ministry, who is dealing with the international press on a daily basis, and therefore they get to know these journalists. And of course you will see crowds of people raising their hands or trying to ask a question. In fact, this is one of the most important press events of the year, but this is not the only one during the time of the 2 sessions, NPC and CPPCC. During this whole 2 weeks' time, there are already 15 press conferences given by different kinds of ministers, ranging from central bank governors to the foreign minister, and also to different kinds of administrative bureaus of the Chinese government. For example, among those in the press conference, several important points by the Chinese foreign minister. Minister Wang Yi, he even specifically mentioned, of course, our great honor, that he watched CGTN's program almost every day, and he hoped our CGTN platform would develop faster and also better. And of course, he talked about many of the important issues relating China and the rest of the world. He's talking about China being a reformer and a defender of the existing international system. I'm sure questions related to that is likely to pop up once again at this annual press conference. Of course, for the Chinese Central Bank Governor, Mr. Zhou Xiaochuan, the exchange rate issues are extremely interesting for both the domestic and international audience. He talked about, of course, the uncertainties of the world economy and its impact on Chinese economy and Chinese exchange rate. He also talked about the correlations and cooperations necessary for all kinds of management arms of China's financial sector to work together. Of course, these are just some of the examples and talking points being mentioned at the annual press conference. This is one of the times, March, the month of transparency, as some interestingly call it, because the Chinese government usually put out very important reports, hold press conferences, and also, of course, the Chinese premier meeting the press. But there are other ways that people can get to know the China situation. In fact, both CGTN and many of the important websites and the social media platforms in China have been soliciting questions and comments from the public to provide it to the premier. So they can choose also among these questions some of the most interesting topics to the Chinese public. If we could walk a little bit further, I want to really show you how people have been working for this live broadcast. Our cameraman, of course, working very hard behind the scenes. Watch out, the wires. A lot of wires on the ground coming from different news organizations. And we walk a little bit further over there. See, as I said, this standing podium is already filling up with more photographers. As we are approaching the press conference, usually the press conference is being held after the closing ceremony of the annual National People's Congress session. And today it's likely to fall either 10:30, from 10:30 to 10:45. It could be flexible because it depends on what other events the state leaders have to go to, and also what they need to interact and how they need to interact with the deputies of the National People's Congress. And this is where I really want you to focus your attention on. This is where CCTV and CGTN are working together now to bring to you the live broadcast of the annual press conference. If we could go with our camera behind the scenes, these are the hardworking people. Every year they arrive extremely early, 6 o'clock in the morning, in order to get the machines set up, long preparations, and you can see the live signals are coming from different places of the Great Hall of the People. These are the key persons that are going to bring us the final live broadcast. We would like to express our all right. And of course, this is the behind-the-scene stories. All of them are my colleagues, and they are here to bring you the live broadcast of the annual press conference by the Chinese Premier Li Keqiang. This is a long-anticipated event. Every media organization would even get some invitations, but not everyone could get an invitation. So this is a hard to come by access of all the press events of the year here in China. And it's wonderful that we are going to bring to you the live broadcast of this annual press conference. Even before the live broadcast, I'm going to also, through the platform interacting with you and brief you more about what are likely to be the topics touched on by this press conference, how people are looking forward and preparing for this press conference, and eventually what needs to be done in terms of communication between China and the rest of the world. This is already 8th and 9th year of me and my cameraman, Mr. Zhu Yang, who's right now behind the scenes covering this event. This is an extremely important opportunity. I'm looking forward to experiencing it once again with you this year.
CGTN